Why doesn't Tim Hortons have bubble tea? What the heck? I'm Mike Levy. This is the 2023 Taipei Cycle Show, and you know what we're here to see. Let's go on the hunt for some new stuff. Our first stop today is the DVO booth to look at a brand new shock. This is the Topaz D1, and it includes externally adjustable low-speed and high-speed compression, and it also, of course, keeps that low-speed rebound adjuster. Now, all of those are tool-free. You just use your hand. The shock is going to retail for around $600 American when it comes out, and it will be available in both trunnion and standard mounting. Now, it still uses a bladder inside, just like their other shocks. And the most interesting thing, this low-speed and high-speed compression adjustment system, you can retrofit that to their other shocks, including the coil sprung options. Now, they don't have a price quite locked in yet, but expect to pay around $200 for the upgrade. All right, next up, we're gonna look at the new Garnet seat post from DVO. Now, that name has been around for a little bit now, but this one has a new feature. This collar here limits the seat post extension. You could turn it by hand, and each click equals 5 millimeters less extension up to the top. Now, the idea there is, of course, you can always lower it with the remote, but by turning this, it is a more consistent adjustment. And what they're thinking is that for people who like technical climbs and want their seat at just the right height, you can do it by this right here. Now, total range, 30 millimeters. Now, total travel, there are two options, 170 to 200 millimeters or 130 to 160 millimeters. Pretty neat. All right, guys, the next thing we're gonna look at is a little bit different, but it's still just as dorky. Now, this one is a little close to my heart because I used to own a Le Monde Zurich made with Reynolds 853 tubing that I would kill to still have today. But we're looking at something way more advanced now. This is Reynolds' booth at the Taipei Cycle Show, and these are their 3D printed titanium dropouts. Now, as you can see, they can make them basically any shape you want. There's webbing, brake mounts, all sorts of interesting stuff. And the idea here is that it's really, really optimized. Way more than just butted tubing. You can see they've also got integrated cable routing and all sorts of interesting things. Now, if you're more into steel, well, don't worry, because they also have some 3D printed steel dropouts. Look at the cool webbing on this. And also, the most interesting thing is the integrated cable routing that goes through the dropouts. That's not something that's possible with regular tubing. Next up in our wanders, we're at the HT booth to look at the new X3 pedal. This is an all-new downhill focused pedal, slimmer body. It's using 2 IGUS bushings here and a sealed bearing on the outside. But the most interesting thing about this is the steel plate that's bolted to the aluminum body. The whole idea here is that you could just slam your foot down and clip in without thinking about it. This helps guide your foot in, which is especially important if you're using these for enduro racing or downhill racing. Now, there are 2 versions of this. This is the standard steel axle. Now, that doesn't have a weight limit, but there is also an X3T that has a 176-pound weight limit. There you go, new pedals from HT. All right, we've wandered into the TRP booth to look at their new Evo 12 and Evo 7 drivetrains that they've just launched yesterday. This is the Evo 12 derailleur, and it's all new. Now, it still uses the Hall lock here, and what that is a cam system that applies pressure to the B-knuckle pivot, and that keeps this derailleur from clanging around while you're clanging around through a rock garden. Next up, it also has a clutch. TRP says it weighs 30% less than the previous version. Now, if it has a clutch, Of course, it also has a way to hold that cage in one spot to make wheel removal easier, and that's what this little guy is here for. Next up, this parallelogram, instead of it rotating like this, they've turned it and it rotates more in and out. And again, that keeps the derailleur more in one place. TRP told me that a big focus was stability and consistency. And to do that, they need to keep the derailleur from moving around. And that's exactly what this is. Other details include a carbon fiber cage, and I mean, just look at it, it's gold. Now there's also a silver option and a downhill version. That's the the Evo 7 version. It's too much going on in my head up here. That comes with a 7-speed cassette. Our last find for the day is this super cool 3D scanner from a company called MyScan. Now, look at this thing. Carbon fiber tubes, cameras everywhere, some sort of crazy laser beams. And basically, if I pick this up and shoot it on here, whatever I'm scanning shows up right on the computer. I wonder if I could scan my face. Does it work? It kind of works.